What we're looking to develop within this the practice of this is the ability to move with ease and grace, to not use physical effort when we don't have to. So we're trying to utilize rotation, utilize the momentum created by rotation, utilize the momentum created by shortening one side of the body and extending another side of the body. The other thing that we're looking to develop with this is our structural integrity of our entire body by exposing all of our body to force loads. If we only move on our hands and feet all the time, we're not actually impact loading the rest of the body. We're not actually shear loading and tension loading the rest of the body. And that skin, that fascia, is not adapting to the eventuality that it will come into contact with the ground or with another person. So we actually have to become sort of body tempered through contact with the ground or contact with a partner. So this is a very good practice to start developing that in a nice, soft way. So those are the two main ideas of the practice. I will show the movement, and then I will go into each piece in detail. We will start in this sort of starred out position. So that is our soft ground flow. If you cannot do the rotation into bridge, or you're not there yet, you can just rotate to here, come back into the squat, and drop down. The first movement, what we're looking for is to be able to do this with a minimum of effort. So if I just close my body up and come to a fetal position, in order to get up from here, I need to push with my arm and my leg. So it requires muscular effort. I want to minimize the muscular effort by moving my body in a more intelligent way. And what that comes down to is being able to gather my body in on one side while leaving my body long on the other. Now, as this part of my body sweeps along the ground, that's going to give me the momentum to come up into the child's pose position. So I'm going to reach and swing my arm nice and big, staying close to the ground. Same thing with my foot. And now I'm in child's pose. From here, I'm rolling up onto the side of my body, reaching out with my arm, reaching out with my legs, and bringing myself back into this starred position. From there, I'm reversing. Now, I'm strengthening the tissues on the anterior aspect of my shin and foot by sliding up over my foot onto my toes. Then I'll be diving onto my chest and worming down. So this is a great way to learn about using your body sequentially to dissipate an impact. So if my whole body lands flat, then all the impact lands at once. If I'm able to use the same surface area, but by creating a circle with my body, I distribute that force over time. So if I land with my arm, say, like that, there's a big impact. But if I use the same landing with my arm, but sequentially go from palm to forearm up through my upper arm, it's much softer. So my arm acts like a wheel and creates a rotation. We're doing the same thing with our upper body here and keeping our hips open. The biggest problem that people are going to have is they're going to want to close their hips to protect their groin. But that's actually going to accelerate their body towards the ground by shortening their body, and it's going to expose the knees to being the primary area that absorbs all the force instead of using the whole body. We want actually to be developing the tissue integrity of the whole upper body through this exercise. So I dive onto my hands, I lower onto my chest, and as I come up, I'm twisting into a straddle position. This is a basic seated posture that everybody should feel comfortable in. It's a good place to be able to move from. Now, I'm going to be moving from my knee. We often talk in movement practice about not moving from the knee, and it's true that if you're trying to get up on top of a hard concrete wall, the knee is not your best surface to do that from. But someday you're going to come down on your knee, and having movement pathways and motor intelligence and some tissue integrity around the knee and shin is a very useful thing to have. So from my straddle, as I turn, I'm essentially coming into a pigeon pose. From that pigeon, I'm going to put my hand behind me, taking a nice big sweep with this hand to create a rotation that takes me up into a straddle. From the straddle, dropping the knee down, swinging the leg in a nice big circle. Now, my arms follow that circle till I'm up in the starfish position once again. Then I swing the leg to the other side. Now my upper body is going to follow my leg as I come up into a squat. I still have rotational energy, so I come into my rotation to bridge. And as I come out of that rotation to bridge, I swing that arm around, back into the squat, and dropping down, falling onto the outside of my leg, reaching and finishing in my start position. This is our basic ground flow for developing softness and developing the whole body as a impact resistant and movement intelligent system. Here is our soft ground flow with narration. This first position we call the starfish. Going from starfish into a child's pose, and then back to the starfish, and then reversing back to the starfish, rolling up our feet into a squat, diving into a worm, twisting and turning into a straddle. Into a pigeon, to a middle splits, swinging back to the through the pigeon to the straddle, swinging around into our starfish once more, and then a swing from the starfish of the legs, a second swing. With the second swing, bringing the hand to follow the body into a squat, into a bridge, back to the squat, falling and coming back to the starfish position.